Delayed internet.
There it goes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Let's Talk Sports Show. I am your host, Bodkins, of course, as always. And man, you guys already popped up. Tanner, what's going on here? Don't even get everybody the proper good introductions. Tanner's been off for a week, so he's new at this producing stuff all over again.
I got to start all over, dude.
Tanner, how was vacation? How was the 4th of July?
It was awesome. Blew up a lot of crap. I think we had 60 artillery shells to blow up, and then we had another 15 cakes we ended up taking care of. So 4th of July was a success. I am not Jason Pierre-Paul, as you can see. So we are good to go.
And we're obviously always joined by another of the Mr. Gambler himself, Mr. Scott Cobe. Scott, how's the gambling going? Who did we bet on yesterday, and who we betting on today to win us some money?
Great question.
So gambling's going good. Yesterday, about 3:45 Eastern, I put a parlay in of the Red Sox, Dodgers, and Atlanta Braves. That cashed. Then at 3:55, I put in a parlay of the Red Sox, Dodgers, and Houston Astros, and that cashed too. So, and then I went Braves team total over 4.5 runs. Houston to win, single bet, and Matt Olson over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. That cashed as well. Today, I'm not betting much of anything because it's the day before the All-Star break, and you see some weird stuff going on. So I usually just live bet games as they're going on. And I feel like that's the safer route because you'll see lineups that are like strange as anything. You'll see pitches that go 4 innings that usually go 6 or 7 and get pulled just to get them some rest. So today's more of a live in-game betting day. So I'll watch, I'll be on my computer. I'll watch all the games, and then I'll just start live betting, cherry picking out ones and live betting them. So.
Hey, speaking of the All-Star game, is there any surprises to you guys that anybody out there that was elected that surprised, or is there any snubs for you guys just thinking about off the All-Star break? All-Star.
Snubs wise, Yelly would be a snub. That guy is having a pretty damn good year, and he got left out. So I will put that one out there. See here, dude. No,
it's just so because every team has to be represented. So you're always going to have a snub or two in terms.
You will.
Yankees would have had Judge been healthy, but he's not healthy, obviously. So they go down to the next, so to speak, rung. You got Garrett Cole in there, who probably is not going to start the All-Star game because he pitched yesterday. So you're looking at either Shohei or Eovaldi.
Well, Shohei's been banged up too. Does he even play in the All-Star game now?
I don't think he's pitching. I think he'll hit, but I don't think he's going to pitch. So, by process of elimination, it's going to be Eovaldi for the American League, I think, from Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say Whit Merrifield.
Really.
I was going to say Whit Merrifield being in there kind of shocked me. I thought a guy like the Diamondback second baseman would get in. Instead, there we could tell Marte. So
where's Whit at now?
He's in Toronto.
Okay, well you said the Diamondbacks, so it's 2 different leagues. I was confused. I was like, I thought Whit was still in the National League.
Or American League. Did I do that?
Yeah,
am I doing my math wrong?
You said Whit Merrifield at second base, and then I was like, oh, did he get?
What in the hell am I saying?
I didn't look at it closely, but did
a week off vacation, Tanner, and you don't know the American League and National League anymore.
What are we talking? Are we talking about basketball?
That was hockey we were talking about.
God dang
it! I mean, the home run derby is going to be pretty good. You got really some names in there, like Alonso Rodriguez of Seattle is in it this year. Vlad Guerrero is going to be in it, so you got some names in there. Which serves baseball really, really well. Especially that's their showcase on Monday night is the home run derby. So,
what do you guys make of this? Ella Dela Cruz, he said no to the home run derby. I don't even think he's in the All-Star game, right? He said no. I don't. I just want to focus on trying to make the playoffs. This kid steals home yesterday. I love this kid already.
Second, third, and home all in that same kind of way there. So he stole all
And-
three
and-
bases.
And you want to add a kick into it on 3 pitches. 3 pitches. He's amazing. He just really is amazing. He is one of the new faces of baseball.
Did not
I
Frank.
think for sure. You know.
No, I'm not watching the softball.
No, I'm
game.
not watching this.
Sorry, Frank.
Yeah.
It happened
I-
last night. I didn't watch it, but
Yeah.
now
Oh, it's
everybody's
on
saying
last night?
NBA. Yeah, everybody's saying NBA players can play any sport now, so that's what we're going at. So that's what you're gonna hear. What's up, Alan? Brandon Scott
I
for
would-
getting Texas out together in power rankings.
Well, listen, the way they've been playing this week, they're forgettable right now. So, but him and Shohei could be the two faces of baseball going forward here.
Yeah, I mean it's just weird though that some guys just have that momentum. At one point, it was Tatis, right? Like, and then his injuries and things like that. Shohei's kind of been continued. Aaron Judge continued. So we're still kind of looking, and now it's this. I mean, this kid, man, he just every time I watch, he's must see TV to me. Like just much, and you don't get those type of guys in baseball very often, where you're like, no matter what he does, whether it's in the outfield, the at the plate, on the run. A guy that was like that for me, it may be because I'm a Cub fan, but his hitting just can't fuck. It's Javi Baez was always kind of like that a lot for me.
Yes.
So it's just must see TV. But Elio De La Cruz is a 10 times better hitter right now than Javi ever was. And
I love Ella sitting out. I love him saying, no, I don't want to do it, which is exactly what you should be doing. There's Devin for Milwaukee, right? Thinking about Milwaukee's status, where they're at, trying to fight this, stay with the Reds. Devin Williams, this team just played, I think, over 20 games in a row leading up to this All-Star break. Like, if I'm if I'm any Milwaukee player, like, I'm sitting my ass on the couch for a day because I just played 20 games in a row, traveling back and forth, no break. Like, you got to be dead dog tired. Yes, they are pros. Yes, they get paid, but they're only human, and you can only go for so freaking long.
Right.
in the game. So, like, if I'm any player, if I'm dead dog tired, I'm not playing in an All-Star game. Thanks for the vote. I'll take that, but I'm gonna go sit my ass on the couch or go to the lake or something.
It's just like you working your normal job for 21 straight days without a day off. It's like, come on.
I don't know if he's Spencer Strider's a hell of a pitcher, but like
he's good though.
I don't know if he's must see. I think there's a lot of good pitchers out there. I think it's hard to be must see TV when you're a pitcher because you're pitching every 5th day, but I mean, he's really good. The Braves look like the best team in all of baseball. I don't know. Is there a team? And we'll ask Jonathan tomorrow night, which he's going to say absolutely not. So we already know it. So, but we'll just go ahead and ask him tomorrow when he joins us. But is there a team that you guys see knocking them off? Like, I don't see a team in the National League at all.
Marlins were the team that had the chance, I think, but they really went downhill this last week and a half. So it's it's not really any case. The Rangers or the Rays aren't as dominant now. The Rangers aren't as dominant either coming into play. They're starting to hurt on their pitching staff. So Braves are it right now. Braves, maybe Cincy, if they stay hot, would love to do it, right? I mean, if they can keep staying hot, but I mean, that's throwing a rock into a very, very, very small hole right now. So,
Yeah, and I would have said this before this week, the Rays have a chance to do it, but after Philadelphia in the series against Atlanta, I don't think so. I just see Atlanta going through the playoffs, not sweeping everything, but going through the playoffs. And I think they're going to win a World Series title.
I mean, right now the Rays are only 2 back or 2 ahead of the O's right now. Like, for the better part of the first 2 months of the season, they were the best team in baseball, but they're struggling. I mean, they've lost 7 in a row. So what's going on in Tampa? You know what I mean? Like,
the pitching staff is not really that good right now. McClanahan's out with an injury. I mean, who else do they really have is on the staff? I mean, they've been decimated right now with pitching wise, and they're hitting they're scoring 2 or 3 runs a game, and against the teams they're playing right now, that's not enough to win games.
And you look at the standings right now. The Braves have the biggest lead in every division, 9.5 over Miami. Every other division, Texas, Houston's 2 back. The Rangers, Minnesota, and the Guardians are dang near tied. And then we talked about the East. So you look at the NL Central. You got Cincinnati. Who would have thought the Cincinnati Reds? I mean, we just talked about how good that they'd be in first place at the All-Star break. Brewers are 2 back, and then you got Arizona leading the West with the Dodgers a half game back, and the Giants they're 3.5 back. Like, who would have thought the Reds would be in first place at that point in time?
It certainly is great. No, not me.
We said they'd be one of the worst teams, on the Buffoon and Bodkins, we all said that they were going to be crappy. We thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Now, I mean, that division's awful, but it's just wild to me.
Who knew one guy could make a difference for a team? It's been Del Cruz. Since he's come up, they've been really, really good. So
now we're getting strict down.
He's made a huge difference for that team, and that's the reason why they're sitting in first place. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Games do start
me too. Me too.
No one cares. Yep, that's right. Score change. Earth on the 8th.
As I said to Alan, I said, "What a surprise! Trout's on the IL. Who ever saw that one coming?"
No, and it seems like every time the Angels are somewhat good or need him, like it's when he gets hurt. It's the worst timing in all of baseball all the time for him.
And he's such a slow healer. Who knows? This could be like an 8 to 12 week thing instead of a 4 to 8 week thing. So
and they're just gonna have to tread water. Are they gonna trade? Do you think they trade Ohtani, Scott?
No, they've come out and said they're not trading him under any circumstances. They can't get enough back for him. They just can't.
Yep.
So you let him walk in the off season for, you know what I mean?
You're gonna have to, unless you could come up with a $600 and something million contract to offer him over the next 8 to 10 years. That's what it's going to take to sign him.
They're 4.5 out of the wild card, so they still got a chance at the wild card, even with once he comes. If Trout comes back, if they can maintain around that level.
Yeah, which I don't think they're going to, because I think Ohtani's not going to get pitched too much. He did last night because the Dodgers were up big early in the game, so they said, screw it, we'll just pitch to him, and whatever happens, happens.
I mean, you might as well sell your tickets, right? I mean, make your money while you can. Trout's not going to make the same money after Ohtani leaves, so you might as well make your money and keep him around for the rest of the year. People still pay to see him, that.
He needs to be.
It'll pay even more, though. Think about it; they'll pay even more in knowing that they won't see him in LA as much. So then LA people start coming out. It's just like the Royals deal, right? When they won the World Series in 15, went to the World Series in 14. People were, that stadium was still full in 16, 17, despite, being horrendous again, of course. Yeah. But they wanted to see Moose. They wanted to see Hosmer together, Kane, Perez, all those guys together, before they all left for free agency. So it's the same deal with Ohtani. It's just a different level.
He needs to be on a big stage. Going to New York is probably what he needs to do, because there's been talk he might go to Seattle because of the Ichiro thing. That's not the place you want him in baseball. You want him in New York with the Yankees or the Mets, or in Los Angeles with the Dodgers, or
Chicago
Boston
with the Cubs, baby.
Chicago with the Cubs, absolutely. So he needs to be on a big stage where he can get in the playoffs. Because
I don't know if he's making the playoffs with the Cubs, but I mean,
they get him, and they keep stealing Hendricks and Stroman as their top 3 starters. Who knows?
Oh yeah, that would be incredible, Scott. Jesus, about to have to close the lights down just thinking about that. Speaking of thinking about things, we had some incredible fights last night at UFC 290. Some dudes' lights got put out. We got to bring in our guest for the morning. He joined us Thursday. We talked all the fights. We picked the fights. I went 3-2 on the main card. Who cares about the prelims, baby? But I had the main right, co-main right, and I had the Bo Nickel right, which was a given. And to join us to kind of cover it all is none other than your boy Whit from Rec Room Sports, baby.
What's up, Whit?
Hey, Whit, why are you laying down like Michael Jackson on Thriller, baby?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm in an undisclosed location. This Airbnb is awesome.
Are you an undisclosed location with your special lady friend? You just don't want people to know about it.
Yeah, no. My wife. I'm with everybody can know about my wife. She's somewhere around here and probably listening.
Hey, listen, you didn't go to the bathroom or anything during the nickel fight, did you? Because you probably missed the
Oh
whole
my
thing.
God, no. But to be honest, I was looking at it in the car because like in these small towns, you got to go find like the random pizzeria on the corner. So I was in the car and I got the pizza and I was walking in and I said, "Oh, it's the Bo Nickel fight. It's about to come on." And the guys in the kitchen, some guys, beach guys making pizza. They were like, "Oh my God, we're missing the UFC!" So they turned it on their Roku TV in the restaurant. And I like literally when they cut it on, by the time I was getting the boxes, fight was over.
Hey, that actually happened to. So I was streaming it, and my stream messed up, and then like I turned it back on, and it was like, oh, Bo Nickel already won. Like I was like,
Right.
I mean, we knew that this guy was gonna just go through him. I was telling Tanner and Scott before the show, I'd like to see Bo get a fringe guy, a guy that's sitting around the 15, 16 area, a guy who was ranked at one time as his next fight. He said he's going to go kill some elk, bring him back. I'd like to see them put him on the MSG card in November, which we found out we're going to get headlined by Jones and Stipe.
Right.
I'd like to see Nickel on that, like 15 fringe guy, a guy who was ranked at one point. He beats that guy. Then we start giving him real fights. This guy's ready. I mean, he's the real deal, Holyfield.
He's been training, like you said on the last show. A lot of guys was bringing Bo Nickel in to work on their wrestling, and last night it was evident that he's the truth. Like when they were talking about him in the future tense, he's really here now. I'm not going to say that he didn't have competition because I don't want to talk down on Val Whitburn. He took the fight on 2 weeks' notice.
A week's notice.
Right. He probably had no idea who Bo Nickel was until he went like Googled it. He Googled it, I'm sure, and it was like, I'm gonna take a check.
He in the game. Wait, this is what happened. They said this is what happened. Hey, this is Hunter Campbell from the UFC. Hey, do you want to be in the UFC? Yeah. Well, you got to fight Bo Nickel next week. Oh shit. Yeah, sure. Okay. I'll just act like I'm. And then in the press, you're just gonna, of course, you're gonna try to believe in yourself, right? What is he supposed to say? Bo Nickel just gonna walk through me? No, I believe I can beat him. You see, he came to the Vegas, no team, no nothing. In his first pro fight too. This was his first pro fight, I believe. Just being an amateur. It was an amateur like a week ago. Hey, I'll turn pro. My first pro fight is against a guy who's a 3-time NCAA champion wrestler. So then you're thinking, okay, he's gonna try to wrestle me. Then, oh wait, we didn't know Bo Nickel had hands.
Yeah, hands.
In a way, he goes.
You know what he told his team last night? Hey, stay in the back. I'll be back in a minute. Don't worry about it.
Right. Hey, I mean, they cut you a pretty big check to take those week notice fights. So, I mean, for 38 seconds, I think it was 38 seconons, right?
Yeah.
Like
38 for 38 seconds for a couple thousand. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do, but big shouts out to Val Whitburn, man. Bo Nickel, obviously is truly coming up in that division. And I was laughing at you, Marcus, because I was coming in the house and I'm reading the tweets because like I said, I was coming in and I saw, what'd you say? When did Dan Hooker?
Oh yeah. When did Dan Hooker become a punk rock singer? Because he got the tattoos, the blonde hair.
Right.
Just it was incredible. How did you score that fight? I did score it for Dan. It was a close fight. Jalen Turner looked absolute gas that weight cut. I mean, he missed it by 3 pounds.
Right.
I don't know how either guy stood at the end of that fight because Dan Hooker took a leg kick that kills most people, and he just ate it and kept moving.
It to me like that was one of those fights where it could have gone either way. In my opinion, it was pretty even through maybe the last minute and a half of that second round, and then definitely like that, like somewhere in whatever I think. And Dan Hooker's a great closer. When the rounds are getting towards the end, Dan comes out and he puts it all on the table. I mean, the evidence was there, of course, because he did take some damage. But when when we got closer to going, okay, I'm not going to go down. Dan Hooker put on the show. Basically went out there and said, you know what, I'm just going to leave it all out here. I'm going to gas myself out, and it worked. You know, he had him rocked like for at least the last minute and a half. I was like, yeah, he's going to get him, and he got him in the rear naked choke, but just long enough.
Yeah, that was it. Round 2, right? Yeah.
Because if that rear naked was in there maybe 2 more seconds, he probably would have went out.
Yeah, he almost should have got close to getting the finish, and then the third round it was back and forth. I had it scored for Dan. Big win. Dan Hooker's one tough SOB. If you watch both of those guys last night, Dan just showed his grit and how tough he is, because there's some shots he took that end most people, and I think Jalen thought that too. Hey man, most people on this leg kick or this punch, I put them out. How come he's not going down? And was very surprised. And then Turner got gassed.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's that we've all had a scuffle or two before, maybe. It's that, man. I hit him with everything, and he didn't go down. It takes a lot out of your mental. And I think when you saw him bleeding, okay, maybe I got him, and then he hit him. I think he hit him with like a really solid uppercut, a left, and I was, because they showed it on the replay right after the fight, and I was like, man, I'm talking about, he hit him square under the chin. Dan Hooker ate it, kept going. I think that took a lot out of him.
I said this about Dan Hooker too last night. I said Florida man does meth and gets in a UFC fight with Jalen Turner and wins.
That's a great analogy, because literally he definitely looks like Florida man, right? That last night. In my mind, does this solidify him closer to the top of the division?
He gets to fight up again. You know what I mean? Give him a guy that's in the top 10 again. That's yeah. I feel like that. That's what's next for him. The shocker of the night. I mean, we have not seen Robert Whitaker get knocked out like that in a long time. And DDP put it to Bobby Knuckles. He put the Reaper out. I mean, if you would have said DDP wins, I would have said probably maybe by decision. But I never would have guessed he knocks Robert Whitaker out that bad. And then you get the altercation afterwards with him and Izzy. Hey, Izzy tried to bait him to say the N-word, did he not? He tried to bait him. And
he did. And it's more like this, right? For me, all right, first the fight, right? So the fight was happening, and Whitaker looked classic Whitaker, and I had yet to realize how big DDP looks compared to Whitaker. That's a big middleweight. That's a big guy. And in the essence of saying, we never know what's going to happen until you get punched. I think he took a solid shot from Whitaker took a solid shot from DDP, and I think you can see it on his face. It registered like, oh, he is swinging. And it's like right after that, it totally turned the tide, because I'm not going to say that Whitaker couldn't take more, but because the ref did the job of stepping in and end the fight. I think that was a great stoppage. Sometimes fighters are telling you hear stories, or you can hear sometimes in the microphone the guys are going, nah, I'm good. No, you're not. No. You are on the ground for a long time, my brother. You're taking a lot of punishment. Let's go ahead and end this. In my opinion, for real, like somewhere down the line, Izzy Adesanya, when he's not drunk or on a substance, maybe, he's gonna look back and say, man, I should have did that shit. That was now rightfully so. Let's spark up the interest in this fight. But that whole dragging them out there to call the N-word, like I feel you. And the thing is, on another fight card, right?
Yeah.
Hey, on another fight card, Kamaru Usman said the same thing. He was like, I'm the real African champ. I don't know who that guy is on the other end of the table. And I remember that. So I think that they have, they probably get together in the back room. They're like, look at this white guy, call himself South African when he's probably really German, you know what I mean, or something like that. But I like the idea of, hey, we're gonna have a fight with some meaning, you know what I mean? But instead of it just being meaningless and just a title fight. Now,
that's how you promote a fight, right? Like that's what gets people in talking the next day. I made this joke yesterday. I said if DDP would have said the N-word, I feel like Izzy would have just grabbed the mic like, y'all heard him. He said the N-word, y'all heard that white boy say the N-word.
Right. It definitely would have been like, so I can beat his ass now, right? I can beat him up.
Yeah.
Can I beat him up?
I thought for sure he was going to just tell the whole world, tell like the teacher, like the kid who heard the kid cuss. Like I was waiting for that moment. Kudos to DDP for keeping his cool and
right.
But I signed me up. That press conference is going to be crazy.
Man,
they're going to talk a lot of shit to each other. I mean, it was either going to be. It's either going to be DDP or Sean Strickland, and that could have been another great. Sean Strickland's just an absolute nut job,
right.
So, but I mean, we're going to get DDP and Izzy in 2 months. It looks like. I mean, DDP didn't take a whole lot of damage, so it seems like he could be ready in 2 months. And it's going to be a lot of shit talking, and it's going to be a fun fight because DDP he's awkward, and he's going to bring the fight to Izzy. But Izzy's such a great counter fighter, maybe the best counter puncher in the UFC.
Yeah, they always say styles make fights. I know that in MMA, like that Greco-Roman wrestling and jiu-jitsu reigns supreme. But I like to see two guys stand up there and get it on and just like you see those Brazilian fighters and let's stand here and really Max Holloway style, stand here and start swinging. I think that with the fire that's going to come into that fight with Israel Adesanya and Dricus DDP, I really think that that's going to be one of those. All right, we forget all that wrestling. Somebody's got to knock somebody out for this one.
Yeah,
and I see that happening. And somewhere in the fight happening and ending, I want it to be, and I might be imagining stuff, but I want there to be like, all right, unity. Black and white. You're South African. I'm Nigerian.
We don't got to fight. That's not.
I don't think so, but it would be cool if they did because like it's some deeper meaning. Somebody's going to attach some. Donald Trump's in the building. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for me, I was like, oh my God, please no big fight in the ring, please no. But let's save it all. But man,
Izzy told him he wasn't going to put his hands on him. Like he's like, I'm not going to touch him. Like I'm just going to. He was trying to bait him and was talking about. He's like, my 23 and me will say this. What's your 22 and 3?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't have to do this to see where I'm from. Yeah. I know where I'm from. But I like once again, I think Israel Adesanya in the case where he's had tough fights before, this is probably going to be his toughest fight, straight up. And just because DDP is not a small guy, he's what I'm saying. Well, Pereira, another big middleweight is that's where he has problems at the majority of the time. It's not like he hasn't fought larger people in the division, but if you look at how the Pereira fight kind of went left for him for a little while, I kind of see that happening because DDP's wrestling, even though we didn't get to see much of it, like he is good at that. He is good at making that counterbalance happen, and then you falling over, you getting pummeled while being on the mat. And Izzy, one of his biggest weaknesses that we've seen it before, especially when he fought, even though he wasn't supposed to fight Stipe, even when he went up, so to fight a larger guy, we see that the issue with him is his mat prowess is not as good. Now, if you standing up, that Muay Thai that Izzy has, the kickboxing, that is his thing, and he can do that with you very well. Whether you can get taken out hands or feet, but if you catch him, because he's also hard to put your hands on. If you catch him like DDP did and he gets that grip on you, I don't know, but I still see it. I gotta wait to put a prediction on that one, but that's one I'm really excited to see for sure.
And then let's talk about the fight of the night, the co-main event. Alex Pantoja, Brandon Moreno actually went to a war for 25 minutes, all 5 rounds. That fight went back and forth. I think the right guy won. One judge had it in a weird way, but I thought the right guy won. The judging was a little bit weird there. I did have it for Pantoja. What did you have it?
I mean, for me, man, I think I'm not going to say that it was lopsided, but this to me was a classic draw fight because really, if you split it down the middle and you say from round two, like 3 minutes in on the second round and beyond to the fifth round, or really like that's half, right? Yeah, like maybe 3 minutes into the second round, and then throughout the rest of the fight, like I thought Moreno was doing a really good job of keeping his jab in Pantoja's face, you know, and it was happening, you know, repetitively. He was hitting him with the 1-2, it was going on, and you know, by the third round, it was obvious that Pantoja had been taking some damage. Not to say that Moreno didn't take any too, but I thought Moreno came out the gate ready. You know, it was somewhat of an even matchup. Like I know what to do to you. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned on the show we did the other night. You know, you think Pantoja had his number. I think he's reflecting on like, okay, this worked last time. I'm gonna get you on your back. I'm gonna get you on your back again. I'm gonna score points because you know, as we can all see, Moreno's chin is phenomenal, you know, and so trying to knock him out is not the necessary thing. And to be realistic, you know, a lot of Hispanic fighters, that's what their claim to fame is, you know, being able to take damage and dish it out too, and not being knocked out. So Moreno's classic for that.
Moreno reminds me of the classic Mexican boxer, you know, like this. If there was no UFC, that's what he would be doing. He would just be like the flyweight, you know, boxing champ that we would love because he just takes two, gives one, and that jab, and he's such a good stand-up fighter. Pantoja was just able to take him down. I thought that several times in the fight, Pantoja looked tired, especially about halfway.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Pantoja just looks like he's drunk and tired right now and doesn't even know where he's at. And he just kept coming, kept regrouping. Moreno just kept the jab, but every time Pantoja would shoot, would be able to take him down and kind of wear him out and just kind of lay there and was able to do some damage that way.
It was a big thing for me because, you know, takedowns are scored differently. And then time on the mat is a huge thing too. Between the two of them, you know, when you think about how many times Moreno actually was on his back, you know, and compared to how long they were on their feet, like that's a big deal between the two of them. You know, for me though, as soon as maybe third, like fourth, fifth round, when they were standing up, I think Moreno was trying to come back. He wasn't gonna let him have it. Oh look, the kids are invading. Yeah, but he wasn't. But yeah, he wasn't going to let him have it, and I really thought that those last maybe two rounds, four and five, was more even than the first maybe one or two because that was clearly Moreno. You know, that was clearly Pantoja. You know,
one judge had it, Pantoja won round one, and then like I think 2, 3, 4, 5 for Moreno. I don't know what kind of drugs that guy was on, but there's no way that was possible.
I to me, and maybe I'm in the moment I'm thinking about it differently, but I thought that was one of the best draws ever. Like, okay, it was so in the middle. We got to do it again. Let's do it again. I'm sorry. You know, I know you don't like each other, but you know, if you really want to see who's winning, we got to do this one more time. It didn't really count in tough. You know, you guys were young. You know, that second one,
This was right evolution of both fighters. Now you saw how good both fighters have become. You go watch when they were on Tough or that first fight, how good they've gotten since.
It's night and day.
Talk about the feel-good story of the night, Robbie Lawler, and what were your impressions of that fight?
Oh man, listen. When I talked about it the other night, I was like, man, I want him to go out, you know, on his shield, standing up. Good old Robbie Lawler fight, you know what I mean? And he literally gave us just that. I thought that it was kind of poetic, you know. You know, the guy, one of the guys that when I originally started watching MMA, they started putting it on like FX, and you could, you know, watch it more. Robbie Lawler was definitely one of those guys. When I bought UFC 3 for my Xbox, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fight with Robbie Lawler, you know. So it made me feel good that, hey, you know, he's going out. He's not going out on top, you know, as a champ. You know, of course, he's taking some really tough losses prior to now, but at least he's going out, you know what I'm saying, looking good. You know what I mean? Your kids are there, your wife's there, everybody's gonna cry in the back. You know what I mean? But at least he takes it on the chin. You know.
I was telling Scott beforehand. I said the Robbie Lawler was great. Not too many times in any sport does somebody go out on top. Like, and we just saw Amanda Nunes go out on top the last pay-per-view. But I said typically these older fighters, like it looks bad. I mean, we saw it with Frankie Edgar, right? Like he got knocked out brutally in his last fight. Shogun Hua just recently this year too got beat bad in his last fight, like his retirement fight. Typically, it's usually they give it to the young wolf, and the young wolf fucking just takes the old dog back out to the woodshed and puts him down. Robbie looked a little vintage. I mean, and then they had the video package. It was a great moment. We saw like Robbie get emotional at something you never really see. This is a guy who fell asleep at a press conference one time. So, like Robbie's, it was great to see him to get out there on top. I enjoyed it, man. It was great for him, and you know, to see you later, Hall of Fame career, great fighter. We will get you out of here on this because I know the kids are barging in on you, and you got to get to some vacation time. Alexander Volkanovski, man, he's pound for pound the best fighter in the UFC, I believe.
Listen, if it's not Volk, then who is my opinion about it? Once again, we see Alexander Volkanovski use an array of skills to dismantle a fighter. I'm not just standing. Not only can I stand up with you, but I can wrestle you. Not only can I wrestle you, but I can wrestle the hell out of you. You know, and for the UFC, like I mentioned earlier, you know, Greco-Roman wrestling and jiu-jitsu is standard. So if you have, you know, an upper hand on a fighter with either one of those styles, you like 65% of the time we can go ahead and say you'll win. And in my opinion, Volkanovski has like one of those grips you just can't get out of. You saw a lot last night. You saw a lot of hand fighting. I don't know if y'all saw that. Last night was a lot of hand fighting. A lot of he's got me. I can't get his hands off of me. He was not letting him go. And then when he took him down, when he tried to get up, Volkanovski took advantage of it. And every chance there was an opening, literally he took advantage of it. I think that was a standard Volkanovski fight. Who he fights next, because he's pretty much cleaning out the division, I don't know. But you know, he's getting up there. If he's not there yet, when we talk about, you know, the greats who do 9-10 defenses, you know what I mean? We definitely got to put him in that category, man. You know, if it's not Volkanovski as the pound for pound best fighter, I mean, the only other person you might be able to think of is John Jones, and that's it. That is literally it. That's the list.
Yeah, I agree. Volk just looked absolutely incredible last night. He's in class of his own. There's not a featherweight out there that I don't think can touch him. I mean, I know Ilia Topuria up, could be next. I don't think Ilia Topuria wants any of that business. I mean, Volk that was incredible wrestling. We had something we hadn't seen from him really quite like that as much as wrestling. He said, hey, Yair's dangerous. He even said it make me, you know, I was a little worried, but then I remembered I am that dude. I'm the baddest dude there is in this game, and he proved it. I'd like to see him fight Ia and then maybe try to go up and fight for the lightweight title again. Who knows whether it's Islam or could be Charles. So we'll see. It was an incredible fight. Thanks for joining us. You got any last final thoughts on the card about last night before we get you out of here?
Yeah, listen, man. I think us coming on here. I think I'm somewhat like we like almost 3 for 3 these last few UFC fights, and like these cards have been smoking. So I'm looking forward to watching more and talking about it more with you guys. It's crazy how, you know, you got some right leg. You got it right last night. You was hitting on them things, man. So
me too. I went, you know, I got 3 of the right. Hey, as long as I get the main and co-main right, nobody cares, right? I said and still and new. So you know what I mean?
You was right. So I'm standing on that. I got my DDP dog in there. I pulled that one out of the hat. So I can't wait to see what we got coming up next, man. You know, and then of course, like we said, MSG, Stipe, and John. That even though that's farther down the line, I can't wait, man.
Well, next month we got Gaethje and Poirier. Too bad for the BMF. Belt. That fight alone is going to be 2 dudes. Go watch the first one, folks, and then you're going to get excited. You're going to get excited for the second one because it's just 2 dudes who just love to stand there and throw.
That's right.
Reckless abandonment. It's going to be incredible. It was incredible night of fights. Hey, how about I want to real quick about Dan Hooker broke his arm and just said in that fight and said it's just a scratch. So hey,
Yeah.
Gosh.
Right. I mean, hey, look, man. When you gotta tell them you tough, sometimes you gotta tell them you tough. You
Hey.
just go out there and take it.
Ain't nobody got to tell him he's tough. We all know he's tough. So
That's right.
Hey,
For sure.
Hey, wait, you're tougher than a lot of other people. We appreciate you waking up and hanging out with us this morning. See you, brother.
All right, man. Hey, you guys take it easy. Appreciate y'all again, man. I'll be back.
All right, give it up for Whit, baby, from Rec Room Sports joining us. See you, Whit. Incredible night, Scott. You got any final thoughts? I know you said you watched quite a bit of it.
Cool. Yeah, I just thought from top to bottom the card was really, really good. I mean, it was entertainment personified all night long, so I enjoyed it immensely. One of the first ones I watched more than like 20 or 30%. I watched it like 60 or 70%, and it was phenomenal. So
yeah, that's
I'm in.
Those are the type of cards where, like, top to bottom, for people who are coming into the watching, like you guys are, it's like, hey, watch this card and then tell me if you're not like a fan of fighting. You probably, then you probably just this is what you want to watch.
Like the action, yeah, the action's awesome.
Yeah, there's no like lull period in these matches. There's violence and physical and beat downs for the whole match. So that's something that I like. So.
Something I don't
75% in of your total strikes. How do you hit 75% of your total strikes and be almost 100 over of the other guy's total strikes? Like that. Yeah. That's just insane.
Class. Who was that? Volk that did that, Tanner?
Yeah, it was Volk.
Yeah,
Volk is 75.3, 149 out of 198, and Rodriguez with 57 out of just 103. Were there, and I'm like, what? How do you land that much and still go 4 minutes yet? You know what I mean? Like that's props to Rodriguez there for hanging in there for that long, anyways.
Well, I said this too in the co-main, like these guys, the pace was fanatic between Moreno and Pantoja, and I was like, I don't know how these guys go another 5 rounds. Like, Whit kind of alluded to, like, we've all been in a bar fight or you ever been wrestling around with your buddies. Like, you think that's like, exhausting, and it's probably only a 3-minute thing. If that, a bar fight, it's only really probably 2 minutes. And these guys are going 5 minutes for, and then some, like, 25 minutes for Moreno and Pantoja. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah. Your core has to be
cardio is just your
cardio is going to be really good to do that at that level, especially in Las Vegas, Nevada, in a city that's known for big fight feels over and over again. That certainly lived up to the billing.
What's up, Tino?
No doubt. What's up, Tino? And let me ask you guys this. Last night I was scrolling on the Twitter and I noticed the NBA has now put out their in-season tournament. I think it absolutely is hot garbage. No need for it. We're not soccer. I don't understand it. Don't care about it. What's your guys' thoughts on the NBA in-season tournament where you get to win? You go to Vegas. That's kind of what RJ Richard Jefferson was promoting on the tweet I saw. I'm so far removed from this. I don't even care anything about it. It's in November. I don't believe NBA season should start till after Christmas anyway, or on Christmas. That's just my thoughts. Scott, what's your thoughts there?
That move by the NBA, it sounds like a thing that they need ratings, and this is the only thing they could come up with. They don't need the ratings. They don't need any of that stuff. I don't understand what you're doing in this round robin.
Football's killing us. That's what it is. Football's killing us. We got to make something entertaining during the season.
Are we just three old guys who don't want it change, or it's just hateable?
This is it ain't. It's not even that. With this, like, what are we doing? This is professional sports. What are we doing? This isn't college. This isn't the G League. This is professional NBA coming into play, and we're going to do a regular season tournament to start the season because we want to try to take away that viewership from football. Like, this is just admit defeat and deal with what you get during that.
I think, to me, the NBA, first of all, 82 games is too much at this point in time. Skim it down to start at Christmas. You know what I mean? Just go just go from Christmas to May. I don't know, cut your season to about 70 games, 50 games, you know what I mean? 60 games and go from there.
69 games.
69 games.
Nice.
I like it.
Well, what they should do if they're going to cut it down is the East plays the West one time, and they alternate home and away each year. Like Golden State comes to Boston the first year, then Boston goes out to Golden State the second year. If that's the way you want to do it. And I agree. The NBA for me doesn't start till Christmas Day, when they have their big five games. That's
what's the whole slate, yeah, and then some. Yeah, I'm with you, Scott. Christmas is reserved for the NBA. Outside of that, before that, it's all NFL, and then it doesn't really matter before that. The NBA. That's how I feel. I don't like this in-season tournament. It sounds like there's not even there's not a real reward, Tanner. Right? Like from what I've gathered,
you get a trophy.
Yeah.
What's that trophy mean?
It's like soccer.
Look, I want the play-in tournament.
Yeah.
They did
you
it like
get
a playoff
spot.
draw.
Give it like, hey, here's your guarantee at least to the play-in tournament or something.
That would be good. Yeah.
Like a guarantee, like you win this in November, you're guaranteed at least the final seed, the 8, whatever it is, of the play-in tournament going in. Yeah. So you could suck the whole rest of the way and still have a chance to make the playoffs.
And they do groups
something like that.
They're doing like group stage, like soccer. I hate it. I hate it all. And it's not that I hate soccer. Like I get why, might as well just do a G League. And then if you put the G League team in there, and then if you lose, you get regulated, right? Like soccer, let's just say, I don't know who's the worst team in the NBA right now. Let them get regulated. And then the G League, if they win, they get to replace that team, right? Like that's how they should do it. If we're going to go like soccer, right?
If you're intent on doing this, you have 6 teams per group. I guess that's what they have. 3 Eastern Conference, 3 Western Conference. If you're so intent on doing it, but they got Group A, B, and C are all Eastern Conference teams. Group D, E, and F are all Western Conference teams. Come on, really? The Celtics are in the group with Orlando, Washington. It's like, come on, really?
I'll go and share the video. We should be able to hear the audio. So let me share it here for those that don't have seen it.
They've been thinking about this for years.
Can we do that? We're not going to get stricken down, Tanner?
No, I don't want to get stricken down. Not for this.
In-season is now official.
If I don't think my audio is it not working? You guys hear it?
First up is
there it goes.
All 30 teams will be split into 6 groups. 3 from the East, 3 from the West, with a random draw based on last year's regular season records. Each team in a group plays each other 1 time, a total of 4 games, 2 at home, 2 on the road.
1, 2, 3, yeah.
Now, those games happen Tuesdays and Fridays in November, so set your calendar. Basically, these regular season NBA
I'll make sure I don't do that, Richard.
As tournament games. Now, in each group, the team with the best group play record after those 4 games, they're moving on. The team with the next best record in each conference, those 2 are the wild cards. Always watch out for the wild cards. Now, we get to the knockout round. 8 teams, single elimination. And you know what that means. Win and move on, or lose, and you're out.
Nobody cares, Richard.
Team standing, guess what? You're headed to Vegas, baby.
I love how he tries to promote that they're going to Vegas. Like NBA players aren't in Vegas every day.
To the championship game on December 9th. 2 teams in a winner-take-all final to be named champion and be awarded the first ever NBA Cup. Come on now. Look, there's a lot to look forward to this season. Players on new teams, rookies new to the league, and teams just looking to make some noise. And the NBA in-season tournament is going to be a can't-miss, must-see, high-stakes, high-level competition. And if you're a hoops head just like me, I promise you, you're going to love it.
No, I'm not, Richard. First of all, they need to get somebody better than Richard Jefferson.
You guys know what this is, right? Like, we understand why they're doing this. It's because of all the complaints they get, all of everything they get based off the players' performance on the first couple months. And so now they want to see these players go hard, essentially, during this, like, hey, look at us, we're playing hard, because college is going on too. So they always get compared back to college on how hard they play. This is what it is.
It's to get rid of the load management, right? Like that's what it is. Go ahead, Scott.
Imagine LeBron saying, "We didn't win the NBA title, but we won the NBA play-in. We got this trophy.
We're not NBA champs. We're the NBA tournament cup or whatever the hell Richard Dick Jefferson just said. Like we're the NBA cup champ. Are they going to cut down the nets and have like a trophy and like that's?
Is there a guarantee in this thing that all these stars will play? Because I can see LeBron sitting out a game.
How does that work for the 82 games? He did.
It counts as part of the season. That's what he said. So
Dick said that it's going to be 4 games, or it's going to be part of. How does the schedule? How does that work for the schedule, though?
So the teams that lose, from what I read, the teams that lose and are not in the play-in will just play regular season games back at home courts.
That's not in the tournament games.
The teams that lose and are not in the final 8 will go 12. Play regular season games, and the 8 teams that are involved in this play-in will play in the play-in championship
round.
Highlight
this tournament. So yeah,
it's so confusing. They didn't think this through. They just said, "All right, we'll put all 32 teams." They did a World Cup draw. That's how they did it.
It's dumb. I hate it.
So
how much do you think they paid RJ to sit there and try to make everybody believe it's a good idea? Because I guarantee you, Richard Jefferson, as he talks about it more and more in that thing, looks like he's like,
if you're a hoophead like me, you're going to enjoy it. Oh my gosh, do we got a thing for you guys? NBA
I can't wait to hear him.
Tournament.
I can't wait to hear him.
And then I love how he's like, guess what? You get to go to Vegas. Like, it's not college kids. It's not high school kids. Like, they're not winning a free trip to Vegas. The NBA players, half a dozen are in Vegas right now. Like, who gives it? Like, you guys get to go to Vegas. Like,
Richard Jefferson afterwards, he just takes the mics off, throws it. He's like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever got.
You win 4 teams get to win a trip to Vegas, Tanner.
Can you just see the first
it's not
game?
Like your bowling buddies, like, you know what I mean? Or dodgeball, like, where you know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt, like dodgeball. Like, the IWWA regulations say that we could, if we win this regular tournament, we could go to Vegas and play on the, the Globo team, Cobras.
Can you just see Golden State, the Lakers playing the first playing game in Vegas, and no Steph Curry, he's got a twisted ankle. No LeBron, he's got a sore back. And all of a sudden, they go up in smoke. No Joker. They're, whatever. They'll make up something. Come on, really? You really think these guys want to play in this thing? Come on.
You know what? The Nuggets won the 2023 NBA championship. But what's more important, that the Atlanta Hawks, they didn't care about it. They won the NBA regular season trophy because that's what's important. Because Richard Jefferson told me in Vegas in the 4-day trip.
Ariel did say it right below his post in his comments there. He did state it correctly. He was like, "Why isn't it called the Michael Jordan Cup? Why isn't it called the Kobe Bryant Cup? Why are we just naming it the NBA Cup? Like, there should have been some more value put into it."
Well, they already got the NBA. The Michael Jordan is the NBA trophy, but name it something cool, I guess. Yeah, it's because it's the. Something. Yeah, because it's the MVP trophy. It's now called the Michael Jordan Trophy or whatever it is. But
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, when they revamped all the awards earlier this year. They each gave them each names, and like Jordan's is the only one that was like the MVP poster doesn't look like him. Like everybody else's kind of looks like the person it's named after. He was like, I don't give a shit. He really was like, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
I hope the final of this play-in tournament is like Orlando against like Memphis or something.
No. Memphis is good. Let's get like who the Charlotte, the Hornets, and the Magic are perfect. Like two just absolute dog shit teams. Yeah,
and then we'll put the Bulls in there too.
Yeah, the Bulls might be shitty this year too.
I hope it backfires on them.
Hey, Alan asked a pretty good question here. Pop that up there, Tanner. Worst commissioner, Adam Silver, Rob Manfred, or Roger Goodell? My vote's Rob Manfred. I believe Rob Manfred hates baseball. Called it a piece of metal. The Commissioner's Cup, a piece of metal. He's kind of backtracked that now, but I mean, to me, he's the worst, man. He's the worst
by far.
Well, you
by
can't
far.
you can't watch baseball now on your local TV.
Yeah,
You have to pay. He made all those TV deals, and so now, like, I can't watch the Royals. I couldn't tell you how they do without going to a bar because I'm not paying the $20 over to Bally's. So I can't watch baseball like we used to, back when we were growing up. So I think by default alone, that takes Manfred into strong, consideration at number 1 seed there.
Yeah, I do too. I don't. Adam Silver's just kind of a softy when it comes to a little bit of things, and he's very trying to player friendly. I mean, Goodell's done
anything too.
Yeah, which is fine. You're trying to Goodell's done some good things for the game. He's done some stupid things as well. But I definitely think it's Manfred by a mile.
It's Manfred.
There's no question about it. No question.
Yeah, I mean, you take viewership. You take your basically you hurt your fans. Essentially, like that's what it does. In the end, that's what it does.
And you go back to the COVID year, right? Like when they had the 2-month sprint, like the players wanted to play, the owner, it was just like this ordeal. Then there was the lockout for a little while. Remember that's all happened within the last 3 years on his watch. So what's going to happen now? He's
the support. Like he doesn't support the fans. It's support of the ownership. Look at the A situation right now. He was like, yeah, hey, Las Vegas sounds great. This is, you don't want to stay here. Essentially, that's what he told the fans. Essentially,
yeah. Well, essentially, I mean, he knows Vegas is going to make him more money. That's going to be
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, supporting the owners and their money. Yep. Want to make a lot of money there.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He just saying in his press conference, look, I got Oakland to Las Vegas with $375 million, $1 billion, whatever it is. We put money into the MLB. That's what he's going to use for his platform. He's terrible. He's awful. He's awful.
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's done some good things. I do like the extra little wild card and that stuff. Like, I think that's, it keeps teams interested. But man, the rest, I'm not. I think he's by far the worst. Gary Bettman used to be the worst, actually, in all sports. The hockey commissioner.
The better question is Manfred or Bettman. Which was the worst? That's the better question.
Yeah, I mean, fans absolutely hate Gary Bettman. I feel like that's kind of cooled down, Scott. You're a little more tapped into the hockey than I am. Is that cooled down? I know, like a couple years ago, like everybody would probably spit in his face and punch him in the face.
Yeah, I think it has. He's more of a behind the scenes commissioner. You don't hear him out in front as much anymore as you did when he first started. So I think that's to his benefit to just sit back and let everybody else be in front of it. The NHL draft, and I'm sure Jim will say this, he got booed mercilessly. And then he had David Poyle up on the stage who was retiring as their commissioner, as their GM, as Nashville's GM. It's the only reason why he didn't get booed even more. So,
yeah, but I don't feel like there's as much controversy within the NHL world. We don't talk about even with Jim, like the news isn't out there about controversy with the commissioner at all. So right. I feel like maybe and we can ask Jim tomorrow, but maybe it isn't as bad as we're all thinking, as it may be, or maybe it is bad, and they just don't attack the commissioners like other sports do.
Yeah, I do think. Well, I think on the pecking order of like national stuff, hockey's a little on the lower end. But I know several years ago, I mean, everybody was after Gary Bettman, mainly for the lockouts and things like that. So, I mean, hockey's had like 2 or 3 different lockouts in his time since he's been the commissioner, and that's and that's been the problem. Rob Manfred can be his own Jeopardy cat. Yeah, he'll probably that game show is what he'll call it instead. So.
Alan's breaking out of his shell today.
Yeah, there you go. Woke up. He's either delirious, but because he stayed up all night, or he hasn't went to bed yet. So it's just.
I'm like, man, I know I've been on vacation, but there we go. That's what I want to see from Alan.
Yeah,
there you go.
But,
I guess that's
no Johnny top 5 today, huh? No Johnny top 5.
No Cruz in top 5. Johnny's out. He's packing up stuff to move, and Sam's at another his weekly ginger convention. So
Oh, I was gonna ask you guys here. I want to bring it up. So I know we've talked about it 100 times, but now they come out that Dalvin Cook wants to play for the Jets. He's looking to deny or reject the Dolphins contract. Where I mean, would you
I
think
haven't
the
seen
Jets
that.
can make it? Yeah. So Dalvin has already said that they got the contract from the Dolphins there, but he is like 90% right now looking to reject that contract, and he's come out and said he wants to play for the Jets. But how do you reject a Dolphins contract who has a little bit of money when the Jets don't have any money? Like, how are they? Can the Jets give him a better offer? Do you think that?
I don't think so. I don't see the Jets having any money. That's the problem. Who's got
money's
money
fake
now?
in the NFL? I don't care. I don't care about.
Yeah,
money.
it's a junk salary cap, to be honest.
They'll fix it. If he wants to, if they want him and he wants to go there, they'll figure out a way, right? Like they'll go to somebody, change some signing bonuses around. You got this, you got that. We'll kick the can down the road. We're going to pay you for the next 5 years or whatever.
Yeah. Looking here at the cap tracker here, looks like cap space. Jets are number 7.
Okay.
So that's that might be something to watch here. We might get them to the Jets here.
If that's where he wants to go, I mean, that would be perfect. Why Breece Hall? That way that Breece Hall can take his time coming back from the ACL surgery. You got Dalvin. Then you got a thumper and a dude who can just fucking light just as fast in Hall.
Two fast guys there.
Yes.
I wouldn't say come out of the backfield like that.
If they get Dalvin Cook, are they Kansas City's opponent in the AFC Championship game? Do you think?
What makes you think? I'm not trying to diss on the Chiefs here, but we can't just write them into the AFC Championship game this year. That AFC
Why not?
Because it's absolutely loaded.
Five AFC straight championships. Why not?
I know that they've been, but I just think that the AFC as a whole is just top to bottom.
Okay, we'll do it this way then. Chiefs Bengals is Aaron Rodgers the other side. Chiefs Bengals is Aaron Rodgers on the other side between those two teams.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you mean? Are the Jets better?
If it's Chiefs or the Bengals
playing the Chiefs in the semis, is the Jets playing like say the Bills?
The
other side?
It's Jets on the other side of whether Chiefs or Bengals go to the championship game.
Yeah, I could see that.
I still think it's Chiefs Bengals 1-2, and then you might maybe the Jets, if they do get Dalvin, maybe they go 3.
What if they got both? What if they got D-Hop and Dalvin? And I keep saying that if I'm the Jets, I try.
They should, but they're not going to,
because you haven't won a Super Bowl in 60 years since Scott was 20.
Competitive since Mark Sanchez. Like, let's be real.
They haven't won a playoff game in over a decade.
Gosh. Like that's different than Super Bowl is nice, but you got to be competitive. Like let's make this team, like you had a little fun last year. Let's make this team a little bit more solid. And you did that with the quarterback position. Now let's gear up and have better weapons.
The more pertinent question is, do the Jets win the AFC East if they get Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're going to win the AFC East anyway.
So they at best they're a 3 seed in the AFC, which means they're playing Cincinnati in the semifinals. Because Cincinnati will be the 2 seed. So, do they beat Cincinnati?
I mean, I don't know because, I think the AFC North. I think the Bengals are going to win the AFC North, but I don't know if they be the 2 seed because the AFC North is going to be pretty tough. I think Pittsburgh's going to be heavily improved. It'll be a lot on whether Kenny Pickett can make that next step. I also think that Cleveland's going to be improved. The Ravens are going to be improved if Lamar is healthy. Like, it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Bengals. I do feel like they struggle early on in the season, and then the Bengals turn it on late.
Yeah,
because the Bengals,
they're secondary. Last year. You mean just like
the last 2 years? Yeah, the last 2 years, really.
Yeah.
The Bengals defense took that secondary's gotten a little thinner. You know what I mean? You don't lose. I don't think you lose a guy like Jesse Bates and get better, so it's
the nice part for them though is they did have the safety, that they drafted the year before, at least with Jesse for a full year, and be able to work in that defense. So that is kind of a nice, be able to adopt that, still have a guy there. So, but yeah, I mean, that whole division is going to be fun to watch there. I think that just makes Week 16 game of the Chiefs Bengals that much more interesting if both divisions are that competitive in the East.
Yeah, because my personal opinion, they get Dalvin Cook. It's Kansas City, Cincinnati, Jets. What about Jacksonville? What do you guys think about Jacksonville? You think
I think they're going to win the division. Who knows what happens in the
5 or 6. I'd still put the Dolphins at 4 right now.
Well, they would be in the playoffs, though. The Jags would be the 4 seed because they would win the division.
Yeah,
I think.
I guess if we're going seeding,
Jacksonville in the first round.
If we're going seeding,
yeah,
it'd be Jacksonville.
And then you got the Bills. I think the Broncos are going to be heavily improved. They can't be nowhere near.
I think you got the Dolphins, and I think you got the Ravens after the Jags.
Yeah, I think so too. Which could leave, if the Jets are going to win the division, which could leave Buffalo as the 7th seed in the AFC.
Or and then you got the Chargers still out there. You got
okay, that makes sense. If Rio's
that's why Rio's got into him.
You got the Chargers. You got like I said, I think Denver's going to be improved. That could be like another in the AFC West there. So like, it's just going to be the AFC, like top to bottom, is just miles apart.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
Yeah,
I want to say the Chargers might be the odd team out this year.
Yeah, the Chargers.
They usually are.
They
like to.
The Chargers make the playoffs somewhere.
Yeah, they may not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
to be honest.
And then Staley's fired, right? He's gone after this year if they don't make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, easily. He should be.
Rob Logan will be throwing a party in the streets.
Yeah, our buddy Rob Logan will be he'll be celebrating at that point in time.
He'll be popping champagne like they won the Super Bowl or something. Confetti
he'll
coming down
during champagne like they will be doing when they win the NBA tournament,
We did it. We got rid of a guy. and not a guy that went. What did Schottenheimer go when he got canned?
He lost 2 games. 2 games. They went 15-2.
Yeah, that's right.
They lost to the Patriots
14-2, right? And then they lost the Patriots in the playoffs. And they hired Norv Turner out of all people after that. And Norv is fucking off. That was the dumbest.
I think Schottenheimer went to Washington, didn't he? Did he go to Washington?
I think that was before he went to San Diego.
Yeah, that was before.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think.
All right.
But this Chargers organization, it's time to sell it, dude. It's time to sell it. You're not managing it well. Like you have a very competitive team, but you don't have the right coaches. You don't have the right pieces to put this all together.
They got the right players. And I think they got the right GM. He just needs to probably fire the coach and then pick a new coach.
Look at that one. Kellen Moore taking over for Staley by the bye week for Allen.
Wow. We're 3 weeks away from.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and we'll be breaking down each division and making our picks. And Scott's going to be giving out some big fantasy stuff when we do those divisions. That'll be probably happening probably in the next week or so because we're in this dead period of sports and there's only so much. So Sundays will probably be reserved for that and a little bit of Thursdays as well.
So who comes out of West? Going back to the NBA in season.
I don't give a shit.
I think you got the Trailblazers. I think you got
the Pelicans.
Yeah, hey, that's what I hope. I hope it's the Trailblazers and the Hornets in the championship of the NBA in whatever the hell.
Timberwolves. I like that.
You know the NBA is going to make sure the Spurs are in the final 8.
Hey, speaking of that, you guys? Victor Wembanyama said he didn't know what the hell he was doing out there on the court. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, the guy's fine. This is a different level of ball for him. It's a big adjustment still from the G League and what he's used to. Dude, I'm not worried about it. Like, let the guy figure out, get his footing. It's you're not going to pop in at 19 and be LeBron James. This isn't LeBron
Well, according
James.
to everybody else, when he was drafted, though, Tanner
He's
said
he's better than LeBron James. I know this isn't LeBron James. I've been telling my buddy JG the same damn thing. This is a guy that's not better than LeBron James. If he's going to be better than LeBron James, it'll be down the road. Like, let this guy get, familiar with it. Like, it's a lot. He has a lot of heat on him.
Please let him get through 1 year before you start making comparisons and comments about things like that. Please.
One game.
Are we concerned at all? I mean, maybe he was thinking about the incident with Britney Spears. How Britney
That's exactly what he was.
Is security guard, bitch slapped Britney and said, "Get back."
My arms didn't flee. No,
I didn't touch her. Honestly, that's what he said. I didn't touch her. Honestly.
It was a security guard, I think.
Yeah, it was a security guard. Yeah.
I mean,
Alan picked the worst teams out of those categories, and that's who's playing in the NBA.
Yeah. I hope it's the Wizards. The Wizards are going to be.
That's a three-way tie for the Raptors, Magic, and Bulls right there, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, the Wizards. Let it be the Wizards and the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
The Wizards are going to stink this year.
Well, the Wizards have the Hornets in their division there.
Oh, man, that's going to be
that's tough.
That's going to be. I mean, this one's, I think, the most realistic where the Pistons come out. So
everybody talks about load management in the NBA. I could see this tournament being total load management for a lot of these stuff.
I just don't understand it. I hate it.
I can see that. Come on, Adam. Nice try, but
I'm so mad right now. I guarantee the players are like, "What are we doing? What are we doing?"
Yeah.
Alan, thanks for typing that in.
Going, oh my God, we got to do this thing now. Oh my God, I'm going to retire. I'm done.
So you guys aren't concerned at Wembanyama, or what about? I mentioned this on Thursdays, Miller too. Are you guys any concern how?
No, I don't have any concern right now. I mean, not through summer league. Scoot's hurt as well. One of the brothers are hurt. Like, I'm not taking anything into account here. We're going to see a big improvement when it comes to preseason. Like, these guys are trying to get their footing in, trying to get adjusted to the new level of competitiveness, and they're going to have to adjust again come preseason. So I'm not taking away anything. I'm going to enjoy, seeing these guys out there right now and watch them figure life out a little bit, right? Again, we all expected, LeBron James to come into this thing, like a LeBron James type talent. It's hard to do. It's hard to do. LeBron can tell you it's hard to do, but not everybody can be that dominant.
This is just this thing is for all the NBA junkies to watch this thing.
Something to talk. It's something to talk about, right? That's what it is at this time. Something to talk about.
Yeah, because it's a dead period right now. So what's the
there's Victor. He only scored 8 points, but the guy almost had a triple double still. Like, what are we bashing on him for? Like, I'm not bashing on him because he almost had a triple double. Like, let's be real.
Also, Pop got JG will like this. Pop got the 5-year extension worth $80 million. Going to stick around and kind of get through Wemby's first 5 years at least in the NBA. How
old is Pop? Do we know how old Pop is?
And there's not many people older than you, Scott, and he's got to be right there with you. So I mean,
I think so. He seems like he's been in the league for 45 years.
Yeah, the president of the San Antonio Spurs is 74 years old.
Imagine that. 74 and you get a 5-year deal.
Wow. By the way, that's legit what it says when you Google Greg Popovich. It says president of the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, he was the GM. Was the GM at one point, and then became the coach, and then he's been the coach since. Yeah.
Now he's the president, so he owns everything.
I mean, they might as well. He gave him 5 championships and everything else. I mean, obviously he's had great talent. 2 couple Hall of Famers, really. Dave Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu. The list kind of goes on there.
The problem
who retires first? Go ahead, Scott.
The problem with the Spurs is this: what do they have around Wembanyama that's really gonna put them in?
It's gonna take some time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why they give him a 5-year deal.
Who retires first? Dusty Baker, Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, or Popovich?
Ooh,
Dusty Baker, I think. I think he might be done after this year.
I'd go Dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
he's won
staying
a world
longer?
title.
I think Andy's obviously staying the longest. I think.
I think Andy.
I think once Belichick breaks that wins record, I think he's gone. If he does, I think the Shula record. I think he's gone. So,
yeah, I think Andy stays the longest just because of Patrick Mahomes. Like you feel rejuvenated when you got a guy you can do anything you want.
And you're constantly winning, right? Like there's no rebuild.
Yeah.
There's no.
It's not rebuild
Yeah.
mode every 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, they're going to
So.
be constantly.
Tim, what do you think Reed's got? 5 years, 6 years left? Think something like that?
I'd say 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
They'll build a
As long as he
statue
feels
of him
good.
outside of Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
no
should build
doubt.
it now. Let's be real.
Yeah.
They got 2 championships now. They could possibly win another 3 or 4 before.
Well, hell,
Reed
I mean,
off.
Andy Reid comes in after we selected number 1 over. Right, we're selected number 1 overall. Our worst season by far. Horrendous franchise. We had a guy kill himself in the freaking parking lot. Like, I mean, this was a
Yeah, I remember
down. I mean,
Yeah.
this was horrendous
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid comes out, and we have a winning year that next year somehow. So, like, Andy Reid, I'm like, easily should have a statue already with the way he's turned this franchise around and as quick. So,
Best coach in Chiefs history, you think? By far?
oh yeah,
Has to be.
yeah.
I mean,
I think
Marty
that's a
always
good-
was. Marty was there and had some great years for a long time, but I mean, Andy got
Hank
him
Stram
over.
was
there too.
Yeah.
Hank Stram. I'd say it's Andy Hank Stram. I think Andy surpassed him. So,
Yeah.
Just I mean, 5 AFC championships consecutively. You know,
Yeah,
3 Super Bowl
nobody
appearances, and then before that, you made the playoffs every year. You
Consistently every year.
coached.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you. It's hard to compete. It's hard to compete there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Andy Reid easy.
I will. Let's get out of here, Scott. Let's get your final goodbyes here.
So we're back off the little respite that we had. So tomorrow night is Jim and Jonathan. So I'm looking forward to that, talking to them about what's going on NHL baseball. And then we'll have the guys back. Johnny Cruz, is he doing a Cruise in 5 tomorrow? Are we gonna have him do it tomorrow?
We'll just go
No,
back
not
to
tomorrow.
Sunday.
No.
Okay.
Maybe Thursday. I don't know. Probably Sunday.
And then Sam will be back hopefully from the Ginger Convention. I know he's been smoking a few joints, so he'll be back. So unless he's up in Indiana, Nick, is he up in Indiana? Do we know?
I don't know. Maybe him and Tyler Halberton hanging out. He's trying to take, his.
Showing
Yeah,
him
so
around.
This should be a fun couple of weeks for us. It's a little downtime right now, but I think we'll come up with a plenty of content for.
Yeah, we're gonna start breaking down some divisions in football. So we'll probably start that in a week or so, Tanner.
I mean, training camp starts a week from what?
Yeah, the
today?
Hall of Fame game teams will be in training camp in 2 weeks tops? I think
So 2 weeks,
so
we'll probably.
July 17th, 18th is when rookies report. So training
Right
camp
around that
begins
time.
essentially a week from tomorrow. So a week from tomorrow, boys, we're officially entering NFL season.
All right, and we'll start breaking down the division. Scott's going to be giving out fantasy over and unders and big things like that too. So
I thought you were going to give it to us. Aren't you the champ?
no. Champ just sits and trains, baby. You know what I mean? Like just in the corner, just training.
Nick's formulating his plan in the corner while we all talk.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll just taking notes, baby. I'll take notes. You know what I mean? I'm taking notes. True champions don't give out
Well,
their,
Well, his new family, the Larrisons, are giving him tips too. Behind the scenes.
My brother Matt's been helping me pretty good. So
he gives them behind the scenes stuff,
Yep.
Yeah.
Tanner, you got any last Alan, I'm definitely not losing it to you. Jesus.
I don't actually have a lot, guys. It was a nice little week off, no buffoon show or anything like that. So, I got a lot done. It was pretty busy still, but got a lot done outside the show. But lots of cool stuff still to come here as we get closer to NFL season. I'm excited for it. And possibly more going on. So
we'll still ain't fixed the lighting in the basement we see. So
Tanner,
I thought that's what you're doing on vacation all week.
JG withdrawals this week by any chance?
What was that?
Did you have any JG withdrawals by any chance this week?
I did not. I actually, I think I felt pretty good. So no crazy news. He actually wanted to do a show yesterday. I just couldn't do it. So maybe we'll get it here. Yeah, wow. I know. Maybe we'll get it here next weekend. Maybe we'll get some news for you in the hoop here, and we can get something together.
Absolutely.
Well, we will be back tomorrow, folks. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time Zone, 9 Eastern, with none other than our boys Jim and John. So we will be talking with them about a little hockey, a little baseball. We're at the All-Star break. Jim, we ain't talked to Jim since he went to Nashville, so we got to talk to Jim. We'll talk a little, we'll talk a little wrestling. Scott, did you check SmackDown? What was your thoughts of SmackDown before we get out of here?
Yeah, pushing Jay to the moon. We called this. We called this weeks ago. Jimmy's all of a sudden injured. Come on, really? He's injured. Jay's gonna be wrestling Roman at SummerSlam. I don't think he's gonna beat him, but he's gonna wrestle him.
Yeah, he's over. He's over.
Yeah, he definitely is, and it's a good thing for him too. Because what they said with Hawani is that they want to face each other at some point.
I think somebody. I was on a show. Maybe it was me and Carlos from Just Fans. I was on their wrestling podcast, and we were talking. I said that that's their dream is for them to be. They've never been pitched to separate, but their dream is to wrestle each other. I can see that coming. I definitely could see that coming. And Roman Reigns did a fantastic job of setting all that stuff up by saying he wanted to give up the tribal chief thing and then low blowing him and stuff like that. So that was phenomenal. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that with Jim tomorrow as well, and when with Sam is when he comes back tomorrow as well. So. We're excited. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be back. We'll be all back tonight, here in a little bit, in a few hours for Off the Rails with my brother Matt Larison. And then tonight, folks, hopefully, it looks like I have a guest lined up for the
Nick. I think it's Ryan, isn't it? I think
that's what's
Ryan, not Matt.
Right. I get him mixed up.
Matt can join in if he wants. We can have a Larison family. Reunion.
And then tonight, 8:30 Central, I got Dick Drago, pitcher, former pitcher of the Orioles, the Royals, and the Red Sox and the Angels. Dick Drago coming on the Bodkins show, hopefully. So tune in for that tonight at 8:30 Central.
Great guest. I had him on my show. Keith had him on his show.
Yeah,
gosh, he's just awesome to talk with.
Yeah, he is.
You'll
have fun with that, Nick, tonight.
So looking forward to that. Tune into that. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time Zone, 9 Eastern. See you then. Tanner, hit that outro. Let's get out of here. Have a good rest of the Sunday, folks.
See you guys.
One life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands hang from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep, only scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change